What's the Satori?
What's the story?
It's been a few weeks. It's been a hot second, as they say in the
Been
States.
a little quick minute.
Hot minute.
Hot minute.
We were meant to come back to you sooner, but we were pretty busy getting it done. Shout out to Patsy for getting it done. I wasn't getting so much done myself.
We're just after having a little bit of a discussion there, so it could be a little bit looser into the conversation now, so we'll work on it, yeah?
Yeah. Start from the top down, I suppose. We were down at the Excel MMA event. A good bit of the stuff was actually MMA because it was just a busy spell for the MMA, and then it's going to get busier in the JIT scene as well, I'm sure.
I didn't make it down myself because I'm coming back on a little bit of knee injury, so I had a little bit of rehab to do, which is to do with a few squats, and then I do the squats, strain me back, I couldn't drive down.
Yeah.
So go easy on the rehab.
Yeah.
Go easy on the rehab. But the lads done great that night, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a great event. It was so easy with the matchmaking, everything, dealing with Liam. He down in Cork, he runs Cork SPG, and he set up that Excel event. They were doing a load of Wimp to Warrior fights, and then they have a bunch of guys that they need matchups, so they put on an amateur card on top of that, or other amateur fight, should I say. And yeah, from start to finish, it was really, really easy to deal with him. He was done some interviews with the guys, and that, like, got them on camera.
You can start to see the lads who take their stuff serious, and the lads that are just in it for a few quick quid or whatever. Like the shop was the breadth of the country. Email back every second, boom, boom, boom.
And even as simple as, because some of the criteria is that bit more strict, and one of the blood works was off, and he got his sister to get the guys in Cork or hospital, whatever it's called, to get the blood work done there for Jordo, I think it was, on the day. But that was only one fight off whatever 15 fight card, for example. He could have just been like, oh fuck that,
cancel the bout next fight. Yeah, which most people do.
A lot of people would do. He got his sister to go down there, and his sister waited there all day to get the bloods, apparently. Like, so that's it's just different but people
caliber. never get thanks for that, you know. And then that it is different caliber, and then that's why his show was such a streaming success, and that's why his next one will be a success, and that's why we will support his next show. But when lads are shortchanging you and you're meant to meet them here, this, that and the other, and messages aren't coming back, you just spend too much time and energy wasted. You can only use the energy on going forward.
So he made it as easy as possible. Anyway, he had everything, and it was great. And even just another thing was the atmosphere down there. Like, obviously you have your red corner, warm up area, and your blue corner. But like, we'd have to walk past, which is normal enough in the back of shows when it's not like at the UFC level. You have to walk past Emery Gordon Jackson, and all the guys were sound friendly out, you know. William Cooper was down there. He came up and trained with us before. He tried to toe held me a few times. Didn't quite work out well for him.
Tried to toe held me.
That's how he called it. But talking to him down there, and all the guys were saying it was just a good atmosphere down there, and a good buzz and a good show.
We're not that much different, you know. Yeah. When you go into a room like that, everyone's on the same kind of buzz. So
yeah. Then the three guys all performed well. Jordo had an experienced opponent. His opponent had fought in the IMAFs before. He won one and lost one over at that. He'd nice jiu-jitsu. He had a couple of injuries lately which had held him back. And it was good. It was a good matchup, and it was a good fight. And Jordo, I don't know how he managed it. I think he ended up on bottom somehow and managed to get him in a triangle, and there was only like 5 seconds in the round, and he somehow managed to turn it into an armbar shoulder lock. And I was walking into the I was walking out of the corner to go around, and I didn't quite see the end, you know, just for the last second or two. I was like, oh, he's just going to hold him there for the end, just a second or two. And then Jordo's up, he's like, and I'm like, Jordo thinks he won just because Jordo was never been out he was out of the first round before. Yeah. But he thought that the round had just ended, and they said he'd won, but he didn't. So I was going in there, no, calm down, we've got another round here, you know.
And he's celebrating.
But then it actually turned out the last second they called it.
But you remember the first fight? You didn't know he won his fight. He thought he drew the first fight.
Yeah, the first fight, because it went to the end and no one got knocked out, he thought that was a draw. So
when he got the win, he was delighted, double delighted. Even in the back, he goes in the back in the medical room and he goes, I'll see you for the rematch to your man. His man was like, you won. And Jordo was like, oh yeah, right back out. Yeah. Imagine going in and saying, man, I'll see you for the rematch, even though you won. Quality though, all in the game.
Kyle had a good match. The guy had a lot of stand-up experience, and whatever it was with the home crowd, he shot immediately on Kyle, and then it ended up into a ground battle, and Kyle got the better of it. But it's great to see Kyle went 3-1 that night. He's been putting in a lot of work, and it's for whatever reason it seems so much harder to match up at welterweight. He's at welterweight, and the guys are at bantamweight.
And he's very, very well rounded
all the time. So good to see him getting a win, but there's a lot more to come from him. And then last was Jamie. Jamie was the second top of the card, I think, and his opponent, we didn't know that much. I saw some of his fights and he looked reasonably good, like reasonable match. I didn't realise how good he was, and unfortunately for him, at the start he picked Jamie up and he double-legged him and he ran him across the ring, just boom, 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 bang. And somehow part of the cage was just just a 1 inch of the whole cage that was somehow left exposed. Then he run head first into it, and the split he gave himself was unbelievable. It was like that, and you could stick, like, it was as thick as your finger, and yeah, it was just really, really unlucky. He managed to keep continuing, blood everywhere, and it eventually got to the stage where Jamie got a guillotine and it just went to his head, obviously quite quickly after that, it's sort of impact, and that was fight done. So
good times to the lads, good times.
Yeah, good
and
times.
We're starting to learn, like, coming from the jiu-jitsu as well, like we'd be fighting a lot of people and stuff, and in jiu-jitsu there's no heavy impact or heavy trauma or whatever, so you never really have maliciousness to the other people, like, just make sure that all those lads are alright. We're coming in the game like that, there has to be one loser, you know, and it's good to be on the winning side of that, but we always won't be on the winning side, so it's just getting a little bit hard, a little bit better to understand and to understand the emotions, like when you see someone getting dropped, and like we're all the same, you know what I mean, like lads are fighting lads from across the way, up the road, like we're all from Ireland, like, so being an MMA coach, it's harder than it looks, like our cornering MMA, it's harder than it looks, because everything's grand till it's over, then you're like, right, you start to process it more in a kind of realistic way that you're like, right, fuck, that just happened, and interesting times.
I think because we're so used to competing in jiu-jitsu, it's like you just do a match and you win, grand, it's no big deal, and then if you don't win, it's like, it's shit, but it's no big deal. But then you go into the MMA and it's like, if they win, it's such a high, but then if you lose, like you might have your nose broke, your jaw broke, like that guy's stitches in his head, like it's a lot more cutthroat of a sport. But we'll get there. The lads were also on the back end of that, a week or two afterwards, there was a national training session up in Belfast. I think Andy Ryan ran that. I think so. And it was up there. They got funded for a cage up in Belfast, and so they had all the Northern Irish or Ulster MMA Association up there, and then number of teams went up. Our guys went up, Jamie, Jordan and Kyle as well, and said it was a good day out. It was a good day, plenty of sparring, plenty of bodies,
everyone on the same bus,
good times. And it's great just to have that, because that's probably something we're missing from the jiu-jitsu as well a bit, just where a bunch of guys come together. And now obviously the sparring can get a bit heated or whatever, but like they're going away together as Team Ireland to the IMAFs and stuff. They're going up to training days together. They're going up to the Ulster training day together and getting guys from other gyms that would normally be at those ones, and it just makes for a
raising
good
each other
team.
nationally.
Everyone's just going up,
like,
and
Ireland's so small, small, like you can literally get up to Northern Ireland to a team training session in 2 hours, like, you know, we could go anywhere, you can literally go anywhere in about 2 hours and train with anyone. If you're in other countries, you don't have that privilege, like, so like to be lads that'd be a 2-day drive away from each other, they don't have that connectivity. So as a country, it used to be a bit like that in the jiu-jitsu, that there was the Team Ireland training days over in Finglas, everyone would rock up, didn't matter who you were, where you were from. I suppose it's another podcast in itself where all that went, but it's deadly to see with the MMA lads, and we should just keep going. If anyone wants to drop in for sparring, jiu-jitsu, MMA, all likes of that, because that's what will make the national scene grow.
Yeah, and on the back end of that, like, you set up the National MMA League for novice events, which was obviously there's great work being done in that area by Phil Mulpeter of late. And previous to that, I think there was one way back in the day. I think Mick Leonard was the guy's name. There was one. I don't really know too much about it, but it's something that has been around, and there hasn't been any in Dublin, I don't believe.
Yeah, and we have the facility. That's the thing. We have the venue, so we're lucky to be in Dublin with the venue and able to run it. We have the cage there. Go back there, John. Somewhere back there, we have the cage there, which we got initially for the lads training and kids training, and then they're like, oh, we're looking to compete, and then we're like, well, we have the blueprint from the National Children's Jiu-Jitsu League, 1 year 3 of that, and we have the blueprint from the Grassroots League, we're on year 3 of that, which are going brilliant, like the last one was over 300 people at the event in the gym, so it's like, why don't we roll it out with the MMA League and do the same for our kids can get experience. If anybody else in the country wants to come and get experience, they're more than more than welcome to come. It's done in a good atmosphere. There's no maliciousness. We're telling, like, I had to stop. I was refereeing. I refereed 45 matches on Sunday morning before we went up to North. But like, I stopped at 5 or 6, and anyone at the event, it was a bit mad, but I stopped and I was just like, lads, does any parents want to get in this cage with me while they're out there? I was like, it's so intense. Like, they cover the whole cage and it's just like wham, wham, wham. The kids, and one kid, it's no headshots for the kid. One kid stands up, punches the kid in the face. The other parents are going mad. I stopped the event. I'm like, I'm not surprised the kid punched the kid in the face. I can't even think of the rules in here.
Maybe you'll have to punch a kid in the face.
Yeah, that's bang. Yeah, it was your fault. But like, once the parents could see it, like, now it took 5 or 6 times, but it's like, and on top of that, I'm not being rude, but you don't even know what you're shouting. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, a kid might have a kid in an armbar, and then a parent is screaming, and then the kid loses the arm. The match was almost over. All you have to do is be quiet. You're after costing your kid the match, and they don't realise that. So we're all getting more. The coaches are getting brilliant, like, really working with us and trying to educate the parents, and we'll all get that. But as long as I have to keep shouting to keep it in the interest of the kids and the kids getting experience, I'll shout all day. Like,
but that's it. Kids are getting great experience, and adults as well. And it's the step up in the standard, because that's the second one. The step up in the standard between the round 1 and 2 was very noticeable. It's like, whoa, whoa, how do people get so much better?
Edge, like, we had 66 people matched and fighting, that's a lot. There was like, our fight card was 45. Like, we're doing a lot. It's for the competitor, it's not for the spectator. Like we're matching, like, putting a card together of 45 fights, making sure everyone's in and out. We had to adjust a few divisions and stuff. Like, most other promoters just like, they don't match next matchup, they don't match next matchup, they don't match. So we're trying to we're trying to make it about the competitor, and I think that it's going back fourfold. So
that's it. And a few of the guys from the gym got in on the comp. There was 6 guys.
Eight matched, 2 just didn't get matches. So there was 6.
So eight wanted in, 6 got in. There was Jake, Keane, Pamir, Niall, Adam, and who am I missing? Des. Sorry, Des. They all got in there. And that's it. And it's only starting off their journey. So fair play to them getting in and getting stuck in.
And they're all, every one of them were mailed, whether they won or they lost, every one of them mailed me last night. I'm going to work on this. Right, fair enough. I had to think about it. This what went wrong. And that's the thing. Like, it's not a UFC title fight. Like, it's just to assist your training. Like, one or two of the lads know they have to work on a guillotine defense. One or two lads know they have to work on distance control. Brilliant. Now we have something to work on. This Instagram buzz of like walking out to, like, man, it's an amateur fight.
It's not even amateur, it's novice.
You probably lost money to fight, like, over your 6-week camp or whatever. And it's, social media just changed it, I think, in the MMA world a little bit. So we're just trying to forget about that and experience. And when those kids get to 16, 17, or the adults turn and they have their 20 novice fights or whatever, then their records should start to look really, really good. So
because it's a good way to improve, because you're not, like, the head contact is very light. There's none for the kids and the teens, and for the adults it's all light, and if you're going above light you're getting disqualified.
If you're going above light, that's we say it at all the shows, there's enough. There's Cage Warriors, there's Akuma, there's Excel, there's so many shows in the country. If you want to go break someone up and knock someone out, sign up, by all means. There's loads of shows. You're in the wrong place.
Or just go down to Cork and stand outside the chipper. That's all that'll take.
Oh mate,
anyway,
move on swiftly.
Then straight after that event, Pat was doing all the working of that, and then we're straight up to Belfast, and unfortunately there was an accident on the road, and we ended up in the ocean. I think, did we?
You went separate car. I had to go collect. Oh man, so Jacob was coming. Our friend Jacob was coming to compete in the Dublin International Open in the black belt section, which was on Saturday.
The
IBJJF one. Don't worry, we'll see next year, boys. What's coming? But he was over in the Dublin International Open, Gormanstown. It's an hour away. It's in the back of Meath. It's not in Dublin. It's in Meath. It should be called the Meath International Open. So I finished up the refereeing here, and I flew to Gormanstown to catch Jacob. Jacob walked out, and then I was on the road to Belfast all the way up, and then we met the traffic. So we spent most of the day in the car. Most of the day either refereeing or in the car yesterday. And then it was just such a pleasure when I did get there. I got there, like, Jordan was just walking out when I got there, just lined up ready to go. Got in, got the corner, and got to see him to win. It just makes it all worthwhile. Like, now you get home last night, you're a bit crooked and all, but it's so what we got done. What we done yesterday, like, we got 45 matches.
Yeah, you covered 45 matches, and you cornered 2 matches, and we had 8 competitors. And
So that's what makes it worthwhile.
And no one got hurt.
And no one got hurt. Most importantly, no one got hurt. The medics are getting bored here, like, but that's it. And another thing, like, you know, like, you have we yesterday had some parents screaming, like, that's not on, that wasn't on. One of the lads was in a head and arm choke. The kids' eyes were gone purple. They were purple, it was on so much. Now, because there was only a few seconds left in the round, and I was saying to the kid, are you alright? And he was giving me the thumbs up. I went into the second round. I went over to the parent, I went, you're screaming that's not on. Like, I'm looking in your kid's eyes. It is on. His eyes were purple. They were purple. Like, you can't see what the referee can see, so.
Especially with kids. You have to err on the side of caution, because if they get hurt, like, obviously, of course, if they get choked too much, the brain might get a bit fucked, which you don't want. But even all the little niggles and injuries from holding on too much in arm bars and all these little injuries, they add up to them
being broke up as an adult.
To them not making it as an adult. There's no, like, obviously you can do sports and that as a child for fun and that, which is another reason why you shouldn't get broke up. But for any of them that want to go far, you don't want to be banjaxed before you're even an adult.
Yeah.
That's all the ins and outs of it. But yeah,
you don't be banjaxed when you're adult either.
Nah. Well, it's a bit
harder to stop.
Yeah, a bit harder to stop. So we were up at it was Akuma was the event in Belfast, and that was another one. It was handy out, like the
real
guy,
professional.
Yeah, the guy, he bent over backwards trying to matchmake for us. Like, he got handy matches for two of the guys. Kyle got matched up, and then his opponent unfortunately wasn't able to do it, and the guy was trying his absolute best to get other suitable matchups for him, and it just didn't work out in the end. But from everything, from the messaging to the tickets to when we got there, just smooth, you know. It was just handy
smooth
out.
Comp, bro.
Yeah, it was pretty much. It was smooth from start to finish. So thanks again from the guys from Akuma for that. Like, and yeah, the performances Jordan done. He opened up with the karate kid. He just ran over and just
game bread. Just flying kick, straight off.
Yeah, he opened up with a flying kick, put your man out of his game, because your man was good, and your man had a good bit more experience than Jordan, which I think is just going to be the situation now a lot with Jordan, because he still hasn't been training a year.
He's only less than a year. He's 3-0. He's calling himself the sheepmore slapper.
Yeah, I don't know what he meant with that. Like, it doesn't have. I don't know. It's funny, but it's not going to last when you're in the UFC, is it?
Where am I? Put sheepmore on the man.
What's your man doing? Going over there for a piss?
No. He better not.
He is, man.
If he pulls out the line, he can't scream that. No, he's not.
No, he sees us looking at him. Yeah, he is, man. Go on down to him. I'll keep this going.
What the fuck, mate?
Yeah, go down to him. He's one of the mechanics from next door. Yeah, that's what you have when you rent a unit, and you pay rent, rates, then you pay for management fees for nothing. You pay for lighting for nothing, and then they fucking leave rubbish everywhere and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, up in Belfast was good. The guys done a great job. Jordo done a great job. He was fighting someone with more experience. Opened up with that flying kick and put your man out of his game. Then off the back of that, the guy was on bottom. The guy's, like, noticeably was good jiu-jitsu. He had a one-leg X-guard and he was going for a double ankle sweep. And it's just Jordo has good balance, so when he was trying to hit him over, he just couldn't quite. And Jordo's landed those few shots, and it added up to Jordo got the win there nicely. And then,
unbelievable.
I was just saying to the guys. And then Jamie was on up the next. Then we're in the back just chilling out, getting warm for that. A good crack in at the back, and Jamie went out there. He was against a good guy, and your man fucking landed some nice shots on Jamie in the first round.
I was training with Brandon when I was in ITB. Brandon was coming to the society in ITB. Man, such a good guy, such a nice lad, hard worker, like hard fire, and just nice, just so tough. We knew it was going to be a tough matchup for Jamie. We knew it was going to be hard. We said to Jamie, look, there's going to be no walk in the park. And that's exactly what it turned out to be, like cracking first round.
He very nice. You could see how relaxed he was. He had good eyes, and he was waiting for Jamie a bit, and then he caught him with at least 2 or 3 nice shots.
And for opening exchange, man, he caught him caught Jamie like chin, hook chin, like fucking Jamie went back, like you could see. But that's the credit to Jamie, like you can hit Jamie as hard as you want, it just turns him on more. He just wants more of a straightener when he gets hit more. So you look for, that's the thing, like you can teach lads this, you can do this, that and the other, and not that I'm an amazing coach or whatever, and I said this to one of the lads that was in the league as well. One thing that I personally look for in a fighter is if they get hit, how they react, because you can teach them all you want, but it's either they come or they go. Lads get a good smack and they go, oh, and they look for a way out, or lads get a good smack and they go, is it? Yeah. And if you have the is it, you don't need to really train it. So He's good to have that.
But Jamie came back in the second round, landed a lovely head kick.
But but that's what we were doing in Toy last, like heavy low kick.
Yeah.
Heavy, the 1-2, hands go down, boom, high. So he says he didn't even know why he threw it. Like he's training, you were calling for it as well. So
yeah, it was lovely, and then just stayed on him. And Brandon, to his credit, he threw up a lovely armbar.
Yeah,
he threw up a lovely armbar. He
used the cage, didn't he, up on the cage to catch the armbar over the top, and then Jamie stayed composed, experienced to get out the armbar and keep the finish on. But no, it was a really, really good match, and I hope Brandon's ready to go again the new year, and which he will be. And now they're great lads over. It's like literally like we're in Blanchardstown. Like Brandon's living 15 minutes that way in Finglas. Like so it's mad that the two lads have to go to Belfast to have the match, but like everyone's doing great. Like
that's most of the MMA, I think. On to the next one before we get on to the jits. The wrestling, the guys were doing the wrestling nationals there, and like again a good experience. A lot of time it seems like the guys just up against guys that have just been training that bit longer.
And strict wrestlers like. Whereas our lads they're wrestling, doing a bit of jits to wrestling to help their wrestling. We have less lads that are just wrestling. We have a couple of lads and they're coming through as well. But the likes of the lads going to the wrestling club, their club is Monday, Wednesday, and it's a wrestling club. So that's what I'm saying to lads, credit, like even to get in there and to be crossing over was a credit to them.
Yeah, fair play to the guys.
That was a good day
out
as well.
Good performance as well. So fair play to
and he's coming through. Sean's coming through the system quite well. You know, he started very like introvert, reserved kid. Like wouldn't talk too much. He's been in now in all the programs, and like it's nice when he's coming. What's the story, John? What's the story? Like he's talking now, and he's more and more confident.
He's progressing well.
And he's progressing, and he's starting to get blocky as well. So it's lovely when you see like a 14, 15-year-old kid, and they're a little bit. Then they hit 16, 17, and they're starting to develop muscle. They're a little bit more confident in their posture. They're a bit more up, and it's just a whole package together. So he just and like he'd be similar to I'd put Matthew Jennings into that kind of Matthew's like a core lad in the gym now.
You know? Pretty quick. It's just it's
hard
the
work.
Hard work. The amount of time they put in, the amount of effort they put in. Jennings would be here. He'd do a weight session, then he'd do the 7 o'clock training, then he'd do from 8 to 9:30, so he'd be in here like 3.5 hours, and he's pushing. He's not just arsing around. No, he's pushing. He's doing heavy ass weights. For his size.
And he's gone studying now, isn't he?
He's doing something in that fitness area, I believe.
Recreational fitness or something.
Yeah.
No, he's doing a degree. Is he doing it?
Yeah, he was in between doing a few things. He wasn't too sure, so I don't know what he stuck at.
So he stuck. So the Satori kicked in, and fitness will save you, boys. When all else fails, you can still.
And then I thought it was very interesting. Jake Nagy got the award in the Castleknock Community College.
Wasn't the only one. The three lads got it on the same night.
Oh yeah, who else was it? Sorry.
So Castleknock Community College, the school that myself and John went to, and that my sister taught in, Mary, and my other sister went to, and my other brother went to. So
and my mum used to do the fucking plant sales at.
Man and mum, oh god,
and Dad used to go down to give them hassle over the yearly. What was it? €100 voluntary contribution for sporting, and just down there voluntary,
not paying it. And the amount of hassle they got out, like John, grand student, me, my little brother, Mary and Agnes really good, but God, they got it all out of us. But to see the school that we came from, to school,
but. I think that's the interesting part, because we were there, and like Pat was saying, like I was a bit straight edge at the time, and maybe a bit too much so. But then the amount of hassle Pat had down there, and then to go full circle where he's a positive influence on these children who are going there and helping them in the community. Obviously, Jake has a number of other positive influences as well. But it's great to see it coming full circle. That was the main point I wanted to make.
Really was. I was really, really proud of that. So like Jake Noy, he's done all the leagues. He's won the Irish Open. He's medalled in the European Championships. He's now doing the MMA, and he's winning in that as well. 2-0. He's only 15, you know. Studies, comes back and forth, doesn't miss school.
Then great example. He's nice and quiet. You wouldn't even know he's there most of the time. But he's just always there.
And then he's on your back, choking you, and you're like, oh, he is there. And then Archie as well. Jake has a friend with Archie, they live in the same estate. Archie came along with Jake a little while after, same thing, plugging. Archie got third at the World Championships, does all the leagues. He's a little bit bigger, so he's harder to match. He's probably 4 kilos, he's probably big. 15 years old, so he's harder to match, but really nice kid, really, and he got an award. And then Lou Mattis Fay, same thing, in with the lads, lives local. And he has medalled a couple of leagues, and he medalled in the Irish Open, and he got an award. So there was 4 awards given out 1 for karate and 3 for jiu-jitsu in the school for sport contribution. And I'm really proud of that, so well done, lads. And it's a credit to the club as well, you know, you get these little things out over time, and like I never thought that I'll set my goals or whatever, but actually I don't really set goals, so I have to get better at that. But I never thought that I'd be feeling proud that 3 of the kids from awards would have run around. So it's not always the part you think it's going to be that gets you feeling happy. So
yeah, that's very true, isn't it? Sometimes I think I fixate on that too much. You're like, oh, I want to be world champion in jiu-jitsu, and you just keep pushing that direction. And sometimes you have to change gears a little bit. But like you're not happy with it anymore, and just like doubling down again, stubborn with it, like, oh, I'm just going to keep going.
Growing
and
with
then
it maybe.
Something so abstract that you wouldn't even think would benefit you in some way, and you do something in that area, and next thing it comes back around.
Yeah.
It's mad the way life works out.
Yeah, it really is.
Then onto the jiu-jitsu, I suppose the children has been noticeable. Like there's been like the amount of kids and teens getting stripes in that. I think it was last week, and then they're all in the kids league and that the couple of weeks previous. And
we don't drive competition until 16 years old in Satori, and the kids competition team is just gone crazy. It's crazy. Like the competition class on Friday nights here, there'll be 40 kids, like, and there's no even comps coming up, and they're all now. When they're coming in on the first day, if we're saying, hey, look, we're going to compete, you have to compete, it's not. We actually don't let our ABCs, our beginners or our intermediates compete. You're only allowed to compete if you're in the advanced or the teenage class, and we've spoke to the parents. So there's no real force.
Yeah.
So it's almost a backwards rule. Like if I had tried to force them all to compete at the start, there probably wouldn't be much of them left now. Whereas I've held it to the correct kind of psychology, the correct kind of like age which would be recommended, and in looking at other sports, and it's just gone mad. It's just gone. The future, like the next couple of years, like I won't say more anymore. Just the hard work that we have been doing, it's starting to come apparent. But we're only getting started on the hard work we're doing with the kids. So just a little bit of the base is laid. But I'm so proud, like bringing a team to the Irish Open. We brought to the National Children's Open, we brought about 40 kids, and then to the Irish Open we brought 27 kids. I think it was 19 golds, 2 silvers, and 5 bronze. So 26,
exactly.
20,
Yeah,
so
it was
26 of the kids in or around that 20. Well, I know there's 26. Whether they are the medals, it was close to that.
Yeah.
26 out of 27 kids that came medaled. You know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. And the one kid that actually didn't medal is well used to competing and didn't mind that he didn't medal because he knew that he made a mistake in his match. He's quite a mature competitor. So like we're going home that night and it's like, Jesus, 26 of the kids that we brought down today won matches and done well. It's not just that we have 1 or 2. It's that the quality and the ethos is shown out across all boards. Whether that's the MMA, whether that's the gym that we run, whether that's the events that we run, whether that's the kids program that we run, whether if it's us competing ourselves, whatever we're trying to do or we do it to a standard that we surprise ourselves. So and we will continue to do that
because it's
just getting better at it.
We're spinning so many plates at the moment, and we're going to get better at spinning the plates. Don't worry, and we'll be getting better at it. But on the point of the kids being so good, I noticed at the MMA as well. Like some of those Rhino kids were the ones I noticed as much because they had the rash guards on. But
shout out to Stewie and the lads from Rhino and Taylor the Cruz and them kids.
Yeah, wow. It's just like in that, and then you're looking at the kids jiu-jitsu at the comp, and Wayne Fagan was coming up to me saying, "Oh, the standard is unreal," and it's the case. So many, it's great to see because that's what we noticed. We were in the Mendes Bros, and we were trying to watch some of the classes. So I was trying to watch. They wouldn't let you. But I caught.
John be like repositioning the seat and all. Man, they'd be coming back over, straightening up the seat so we can't look.
I went down. There's an SIE place across the road, and I went down, sat in the SIE place one day for 12 hours to see when the Mendes Bros came and went, just to try to see what sort of time they're spending in the gym, what drilling they were doing, just to try to pencil it down.
That'd only be one of the little weird things we'd be doing around the world, like to see what's going on. Like.
But the kids, and I said it to them, I said it to Guy Mendes, I was like, man, those kids, because the kids, I was allowed in at this time, they don't let you in certain times, I was allowed in, and the kids class was on here and the adults was there, and I looked at the kids and looked at the adults, and it was apparent that the kids' technique was considerably better than the adults, and I said it, Guy Mendes was there, so I think I was like, man, those kids' technique is better than those adults, and he was giving nothing, he was just like, yeah, that's it, just go away. And I was like, alright, I'll see it. But then you could see that, then it was brilliant to see it at the MMA league, the kids' technique, many of the kids was better than the adults.
Yeah.
And the same with the jiu-jitsu. And that's why with the kids' jiu-jitsu, it's going to become the case that if you're not involved in the kids' leagues and class running, it's going to be hard to get involved because you're going to show up
and your kids are going to get smoked.
The kids won't, because the kids are improving so fast. Other kids are going to have it.
They're going to be left behind.
Yeah, they're just.
And my sole goal of the leagues was we were putting on 5 to 6 across the year with one open. And we're saying you get at least 3 matches at the leagues. We put on experience areas at the leagues. Like some kids were getting 10 matches. They were just here all day. They were just like, I'm taking a break for an hour. I'm going
Clare again. John Eustace will come up with the car boys. And
fair play to John. And they'd be scrapping out the door. They'd be
trying to fight adults, trying to fight everyone, man. And they're beasts, like, and they're really good technique. But like some of them, they like
getting
Max Lally as well. How many matches did he be getting? Some of the days,
6, 7 matches, 8 matches in a day and going. And that's the same thing that it's and like we have a lot of kids in here, but like Hannah crops up again and again and again, and Hannah, and she's winning the world championship, she's winning the elite, she wins everything she goes to. We go to tournaments now, I almost can't coach her, there's so many people running towards her to see her, this, that and the other. It's almost funny to the point. But Hannah started in the leagues, you know. She was okay in the first one. She's done 3 years at the leagues now, so she's done 6, 12, 18 rounds at 6, 12, 13 rounds at the league, heading for 18. On average she's got 5, 6 matches out of every one of them, so 13 by 5 or 6, or well no, actually maybe 13 by 3 we'll say. Even that's 40 matches. More than most
adults.
Quick
maths, Pat.
I'm good at the quick maths.
You failed the maths.
Yeah, I did, but I'm good at the quick maths. I'm good at in the hand. I'm good at the quick maths. But put on the paper, not so good. But so people are coming to me being like, Hannah's unbelievable. Like, I can't believe she's such a good competitor. I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. She's been doing it now all the time. She's had her ups, she's had her downs, she's figuring out her game. And what's starting to get cool is, and that's what we used to see in England and we used to see in America, that the kids knew how to win in competition. So you can be good at jiu-jitsu, but you still don't know how to win a competition. They're starting to get competition experienced, and that's where it's like chasing the hip. They're heading out the area, you know, you need the advantage, right? The ref's about to give you a stall, you move. So you have to be experienced in the competition. And even down to these mats. Like me and John were training on the jigsaw mats for so long, and then we were going to competitions and they were zebra mats, and it was a different passing game.
Because you'd be trying to pass the people and they'd slide, whereas with the jigsaws you
didn't move.
And you were trying to pass them and they were just going across the mat and you're running around and you're like, what is happening there?
How is he moving like that? And you'd Toriano him, he'd do a 360 and come back in front of you, he'd be like, because the grip was just different. But our kids are training on the surface. It's like you're playing soccer, and you're on the sand. Exactly. Or you're on the
not to that extreme, but similar.
Every week you're either you're practicing on grass, and then you go and play on the astro or play on the concrete pitch. It's not completely different. There's just little details you have to be careful of. So like all of those areas, it's and I'm glad because it was a bit of a blurry few years there because we were doing so much, but I'm glad that it's starting to come here and it's relighting the kind of fire for ourselves as well, because it's hard to be good at things. Like, it's hard to be good at one thing, you know. It's hard to even do a college degree, it's hard to even run a gym, it's hard to even run an event, it's hard to even run an MMA program. When you're doing them all, like, sometimes you don't even know what's happening.
Yeah, like, that's it. I went home last night, just sleep back up this morning, didn't even realise that we won, like, almost like.
It's just going on to the next process.
But that's the right
and
thing.
We're starting.
Jacob says, just keep going.
Just keep it going. And then he lands in as well, Sean.
Yeah, but then on to the adult jiu-jitsu, then we had the grassroots, which Pat was setting up with the help of Yanis, and a couple of guys out there again. Same again in the gym, getting experience and just starting off, building it up and getting the ball rolling. And then the beginner stripes, it's great to see some of the guys coming through the beginners program from one program into the growth of the program. They've been building, like Paul has been doing a good job there, and Jamie doing a really good job. Paul was also doing a really good job, not to say one was doing a better job than the other, but Paul wouldn't like that. It wouldn't like that. He takes offence to
and you'd hear about that. You'd hear about that quick, sharp.
But they've been doing a great job building the guys up. The guys in the program improving fast. A number of people have been saying it to me. They're building up their stripes, which is brilliant. They're getting into the intermediate class, and they're doing well in the intermediate class. So,
and it's not like that Paul's just doing and exactly what John's saying, but it's not as if that Paul's just doing that so he's doing nothing else. Very busy time in his life, building a house with his wife, who he just got married to last year. They're doing that, but he wouldn't even know it. You know, he's in here, he does his classes, he's buzzing, thinking, I'm at a busy time in my life, but it's going to be worth it the next one. Whereas some other people, they just get a project and they're like, lovely, I don't have to do this and this because I have an excuse that I'm doing that. Nah, just keep the foot down in all areas. So well done to Paul and Jamie. Actually mailed Paul the other night because one of the lads...
Positive or negative?
Positive, for once. Because one of the lads, when they were leaving, he stopped me and I word for word, it was the first kind of time ever that someone had been like, oh, progression, I got triangled 3 times now, and I loved it, because that's what he needed. He was, so brilliant job. And brilliant job to you, John, because I know you put a lot of thought into making that work. Or so you said you did.
No, I maybe overthinked it, man. Because I've been teaching beginners jiu-jitsu classes since I just got my blue belt, so about 8 years ago.
I think that's illegal now on the scene.
So about 8 years, and I've been thinking about it a lot during that time. I've gone through a lot of different ways of doing it, and so it will continue. Is Jacob? He's like himself down there.
It's not even Jacob's Big Dean.
No, it is. He has his headphones in. It'll be alright. All that noise is just someone listening.
It's just.
I know. I just started putting up the hashtag on the Instagram, Satori International, because just since we done the last one, which was 3-4 weeks ago, whatever, we had Jake Nagy was in American Top Team training. We had Keen Cut and Des Phillips were training over in Canada in, I forget the name of the gym.
Kieran Meaton was training in a new gym. He's got 2 new Gs down in Australia. He's in a new place.
Nice. Aaron Scully was down in Tullamore. It's not necessarily international, but
it's fair play.
Is it? We had Thomas Tamaka was over in Lithuania. I'm so shit with the names. In another team. It's great just to see all the guys getting around, getting that experience, coming back. And we had a couple of people dropping into us as well. Not too many though, but a couple are coming, so that's great to see. So that international flavour is coming through. And then speaking of international, we had Jacob here at the moment as well, which is brilliant. We've done a piece with him, just a bit of behind the scenes, so you could get to see a bit of who he is and how it is that he managed to be successful. That's on this channel, just a few videos below this one if you want to check it out.
Because he's heading to be the youngest, most successful kind of black belt in Europe.
He's quickly emerging. There's not that. There's maybe, I was talking to him about it, there may be 10 people that are emerging similar to him. A couple of guys, the Scandinavian guys, are that little bit ahead of him, maybe just in results so far. But he's only 22, and he's going to be competing at least until he's 32. He's saying a bit further. He's going to be. I'd be surprised if he wasn't world champion at least once, if not multiple time world champion. So
in the future, so
looking forward to seeing it, and he deserves it as well. When you see what he does and you talk to him and just the type of person he is, he deserves to do it. That's it.
And Friday night competition class, he even came in, and
the kids competition class.
The kids competition class, and I just wanted the kids to see him a little bit, and him to see the kids, and we'd ran the class as normal, and then I just got him in to show a piece for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then just to talk to the kids with the mindset. And some of the kids were asking questions, and one thing that popped up with me, that was because we've got a good variety of teens in here, and kids obviously, and the teens, and this, I've seen this over and over again, and I've been in this situation with myself again and stuff, but you want a certain result, but you're not willing to do the work. And then you'll throw everything out of the pram because of this. Yeah,
because it's the reality. You don't want to accept the reality that you didn't do the work. So the easier reality is, the
make
referee fucked me over.
Make a reality.
Such and such happened.
I was saying, I was like, there is no blueprint. But I was just saying, Jacob, and I was saying, you don't have to compete. Okay, just talking about competitions. If you wanted to be Irish or local level champion, what kind of training should you be doing? He's saying local level, maybe 2 to 3 times a week, you might get away with it, as long as while you're there that you apply yourself on those small blocks that you're not in. It's while you're there, you're getting your drill. I was saying, what about kind of Irish champion, British champions? It's hard to say, but you would need to apply yourself at least 4 times a week, What about Abu Dhabi's European world champion? He's like, you never turn off. That's it. So you want that, you train 2 or 3 times a day. If he's injured, he's thinking about it. If he's not thinking about it, he's stretching because his legs are tight. You just don't turn off, and you're going to have to realise that, the teenagers and the kids and stuff, that's your life. We've had lots of opportunities, man. Me and John had to create a lot of our own opportunities. And we were given some opportunities as well, don't get me wrong. But you've got the #1 facility in Europe on your doorstep. Most of the teens who are serious about competing, we give them a key so they can just come in and train wherever they want. The likes of this, if you turn around in 5 more years and you're like, there's only so much the coach can do for you. Yeah. There's only so much the gym can do for you. Yeah. Champions are going to be champions anyway, so it's up to you whether you do or don't. Yeah. We've done all we can.
You can't make a champion. They make themselves, and we just help you to be a champion.
Yeah,
basically. So you got to do it.
You have to think if I want to be good at jiu-jitsu and I want to be a black belt when I'm whatever age, grand. What you need to do is that. I want to be good at jiu-jitsu and I want to do one competition a year. You'll have to have a think about that. I want to do competition. I want to do jiu-jitsu. I want to get a degree. I want to open a business. I want to think. You're going to have to do the work, and you can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to do that, that, and that." And when it doesn't turn out that way, blame someone else or make up a what if you had all the opportunities.
Yeah.
So we're going to revamp the ambassador program and a few little bits here going into the new year. But the main thing is there's a big line under the opportunity, and it's up to you whether what you do with it or not.
Right, just to wrap it up real quick.
John's going to wrap up with a song. He's wrote it.
Busy end of the year, just keep training. A lot of people, they'll drop off for drinks around Christmas. Just keep training as much as you can.
Consistency is key.
Yeah, and the work you do now will pay off. There's comps coming up, there's gradings coming up. Get after it.
Yeah. Us.